everyone, and welcome to the Global Business Update yet again with TA. 7 stories from around the world to keep you updated. Hapag Loyd, one of the largest supply chain solutions providers in the world, has clearly mentioned that the time ahead for the supply chain industry may not be that great. And one of the key reasons for this being the fact that there's a lot of uncertainty around the global economy, and also the fact that there are recessions in some parts of the world, and most importantly, the global demand for logistics seems to be weakening, and compared to last year where there was a 6.6% increase or the growth of demand, this year it's supposed to be only around 2.6%. Well, if you are in the supply chain industry, the complexity and uncertainty simply continues. Meanwhile, with regard to the area of cryptocurrency, well, one cannot leave that out of the weekly global business update. Well, recently we saw the Terra USD having a massive crash. In fact, it's one of those stable coins where the value is pegged to the dollar and where one coin is supposed to be equal to $1. But they did experience a crash, and that was combined with a wipeout of a massive amount of wealth of many people across so many different cryptocurrencies, because we saw even Bitcoin, Ethereum also coming down. And mind you, Terra USD is based on the Ethereum blockchain. However, the Tether company, the company behind the famous USDT currency, well, they saw a fact of around $600 million worth of money being paid out as and when people tried to cash in on the USDT they were holding. And they have clearly said that it was possible to do so because they have invested their money in US treasuries. They have actual US treasuries in their accounts, and whenever needed, they are able to cash in those and provide the money. But for how long will this stability or instability continue? Only time would tell. Meanwhile, we see Ford India announcing that they are planning to drop out of their plans of creating electronic vehicles in India. This is simply because earlier they were planning on producing electronic vehicles in India under a producer and production incentive scheme the government had offered. But with the government announcing that they are not going to provide those incentives anymore, it seems like Ford has pulled out of the Indian market with their plans for production of EVs. How much of an impact will this have on the Indian economy, and will the other producers also follow up on similar actions? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Europe and Russia. Well, the love-hate story over oil simply continues. Now, the new tone of many European countries is that let's not really rush into the block for oil or the ban on oil. Instead, let's apply these blocks and restrictions and trade sanctions on other products. This is also because some of the countries like Hungary have clearly said they are not willing to accept a block on Russian oil because it would create massive issues for them. And mind you, as we have repeatedly mentioned, Russia is one of the biggest suppliers of oil and gas to the European nations. Meanwhile, there is a big question whether these sanctions are actually working, because this year Russia's oil revenues are already up by 50% as per the International Energy Agency. So where are these sanctions and what impact is it really having? Mind you, Russia earns about $20 billion every month with their oil sales. Well, it simply seems that no matter how much the world may talk against the attack on Ukraine, they simply need the Russian oil to survive and keep their economies going. ASEAN is tired of waiting. The ASEAN region has clearly shown that they are tired of waiting for Joe Biden's US administration to act on the words given or the promises given with regard to trade pacts. There's a massive focus of US with regard to their Indo-Pacific trade relationships, but the details are hazy, and the complaint is that America is more interested in terms of blocking some of the defense advances of the Chinese government, and that they're too engrossed in some of the regional politics and not having enough focus on the regional trade. For how long will the ASEAN region really tolerate this? Well, your guess is as good as mine. Well, Twitter being about to be bought over by Elon Musk was a big talk, but now the deal seems to be on hold for the simple reason that the Twitter company has promised Elon Musk that their fake accounts are less than 5%, but Elon Musk needs evidence for that. And this announcement of the deal being on hold has brought down the value of Twitter shares by about 11%, while the Tesla shares are actually up by about 4%. On a final note, in a globalized connected economy, they say one economy's problem might be another economy's gain. That's the simple concept applying to Zimbabwe as well. The miners of Zimbabwe has actually been able to achieve around 4 million carats of mining of diamonds in 2021, and they are expecting to exceed that output in 2022. Why? Simply because Russia, one of the biggest markets for diamonds, are simply having issues providing the diamonds to the rest of the world. People are also putting sanctions, and economies are putting sanctions and blocking diamond exports from Russia as well. This means Zimbabwe is having their moment, and how well will they shine? Let's wait and see. That's it for this week, and no matter what business you may be in, stay safe and stay profitable.